Welcome. Today, we discuss the State Human Rights Commission, an executive dossier on the statutory framework, mechanics, and legacy of the Rajasthan State Human Rights Commission. To understand the Commission, we must first look at its statutory foundation. Under Section 21 of the Protection of Human Rights Act, 1993, state governments are mandated to establish state-level commissions. Following this federal mandate, the official notification establishing the Rajasthan State Human Rights Commission was issued on March 20, 2000. Crucially, the Commission operates as an autonomous statutory body rather than a constitutional one. It was created specifically to safeguard and champion fundamental human rights within the state jurisdiction of Rajasthan. The Commission has undergone significant statutory evolution across three distinct legislative eras. Under the original 1993 Act, the Commission was structured with one chairman and 4 members. Tenure was set at 5 years or until reaching 70 years of age, and the position of chair was strictly restricted to a former Chief Justice of a High Court. In the 2006 amendment, the composition was downsized to one chairman and 2 members to drive operational efficiency, while retaining the 5-year tenure and the requirement for a former Chief Justice. In our current era, governed by the 2019 amendment, the composition remains one chairman and 2 members, but 2 major shifts occurred. Active tenure was shortened to 3 years or until 70 years of age, with reappointment explicitly permitted, and eligibility for the chair was relaxed to allow any retired High Court judge to serve, not just former Chief Justices. How do members get selected? The appointment process is governed by a high-level statutory recommendation committee. At this roundtable sits the Chief Minister as chairman of the committee, joined by the State Home Minister, the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, and the Leader of the Opposition in the Legislative Assembly. In states possessing a legislative council, the council chairman and council leader of the opposition also join this panel. This committee formulates a binding recommendation, based upon which the state governor formally executes the appointment. Turning to the statutory qualification matrix, the chairman's mandate requires the individual to be either a retired Chief Justice of a High Court or a retired Judge of a High Court. As an analytical insight, the 2019 amendment specifically expanded this qualification pool to eliminate prolonged leadership vacancies. For the 2-member seats, statutory law offers 2 distinct pathways. The judicial path requires serving a retired High Court judge, or a district court judge with a minimum of 7 years of judicial experience. The expertise path requires a person demonstrating deep practical knowledge or experience in human rights matters. This dual structure ensures a balance between procedural legal rigor and on-the-ground human rights advocacy. Examining the service life cycle, Phase 1 limits active tenure to exactly 3 years or until reaching 70 years of age, whichever occurs first. Moving into Phase 2, members are eligible for reappointment for an additional term, provided they do not cross the absolute 70-year age ceiling. Once service concludes, strict post-service boundaries take effect. There is a permanent ban on profit. Upon leaving office, the chairman and members are strictly ineligible for any further employment under either the state or central governments. This safeguard guarantees that decisions made during their term remain completely unbiased and free from future political incentives. To shield the Commission from executive interference, the removal mechanism is intentionally rigorous. Although the state governor executes appointments, members can only be removed by the President of India. The governor may only suspend a member during an active inquiry. Removal requires 2 keys to unlock. Key 1 demands proven statutory grounds, such as malpractice, physical or mental incapacity, bankruptcy, or moral decline. Key 2 requires a formal inquiry by the Supreme Court of India. Only an affirmative finding of misconduct by the Supreme Court allows the President to execute a removal, insulating the Commission from state-level political retaliation. In terms of functional capabilities, the Commission wields 3 main powers. First, it holds full civil court authority, allowing it to issue binding summonses to witnesses and legally compel any state office to produce public documents and records. Second, it commands an independent investigative arm headed by a senior police officer holding the rank of Inspector General of Rajasthan Police. Third, it possesses broad institutional oversight, giving it unfettered authority to conduct physical inspections of state jails and custodial facilities to inspect living conditions. The Commission can initiate these actions either upon receiving a citizen petition or suo motu, meaning entirely on its own initiative. Not every complaint reaches investigation. Incoming public grievances must pass through a 4-stage jurisdiction filter. Filter 1 is the statute of limitations, which screens out incidents older than 1 year from the date of the alleged violation. Filter 2 is the judicial block, which rejects sub judice matters currently pending before any court or judicial commission. Filter 3 is the military exemption, barring complaints regarding the actions of the armed forces. Filter 4 is the clarity mandate, filtering out vague, anonymous, or pseudonymous complaints that lack actionable specifics. Only complaints that clear all 4 filters qualify as actionable human rights violations. When findings are established, the accountability loop ensures they cannot be buried. First, the Commission drafts and submits an annual report containing its findings and systemic recommendations directly to the state government. Next comes legislative scrutiny. The state government is statutorily bound to lay this report before the Rajasthan Legislative Assembly. Finally, the accountability mechanism prevents simple dismissal. If the government chooses to reject any recommendation made by the Commission, it is legally required to table a formal memorandum of action taken, explicitly detailing the exact reasons for non-acceptance on the floor of the Assembly. The structure reveals what scholars call an institutional paradox. On one hand, you have state proximity. Members are appointed on the advice of the state chief minister, funded by the state budget, and report to the state assembly, ensuring they remain deeply embedded in local administrative realities. On the other hand, you have the federal shield. The Commission holds civil court powers against state officials and its members can only be removed by the President of India following a Supreme Court inquiry. The Commission is deliberately designed as an institutional paradox, embedded enough to monitor state administration from within, yet federally shielded enough to prosecute violations without fear. Concluding with the historical Hall of Records, we highlight key figures in the Commission's legacy. Justice Kanta Bhatnagar served as the inaugural chair, holding the record for the shortest tenure as chairman from March 23, 2000 to August 11, 2000. Justice S. Sagir Ahmed stands as the only minority president, uniquely bringing the prestige of a former Supreme Court judge to the State Commission. Justice N. K. Jain holds the absolute record for the longest tenure served as chairman. On the membership spectrum, Pukhraj Sirvi held the longest member tenure at 7 years, while Namonarayan Meena held the shortest at 1 year before transitioning to serve as a union minister. In the present era, the Commission operates under the streamlined 1+2 framework established in 2006. Following the leadership of Justice Gopal Krishna Vyas, who assumed office in January 2021, Justice Gangaram Moolchandani was appointed to the chair on June 28, 2024, marking the current chapter of human rights oversight in Rajasthan. This concludes our executive dossier. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment if you enjoyed this quick revision.